What's up, you freaking geniuses? So here I'm going to show you another method as to how you can simplify exponents, right? So I'm going to show you two ways. One's going to be kind of a long way, and then the other one's going to be like a shortcut way. So here we have 7k squared over 4k cubed. Okay, so one thing we can do here is actually separate the numbers from the variables in two different fractions. So I can write 7 over 4, so I can say 7 over 4, and then I can multiply that by this other part of our problem, k squared over k cubed. So times k squared over k cubed. Okay, 7/4, we can't simplify that anymore, but here k squared over k cubed, we can definitely simplify this a little bit more. Here you can see we have the same bases, right? We have a k and a k, and whenever you're dividing exponents like this, you have to subtract the exponents, right? So here, this one right here is going to simplify to simply k, and then we're going to subtract the exponents, and you always start with the one that's on top, so 2, right? So we're going to say 2 minus the bottom one, which is a 3, right? 2 minus 3 is equal to -1, so this is equal to k to the negative first power. Okay, now whenever you have a negative exponent like this, it's the same thing as writing it in a fraction, okay? So what's going to go in your fraction here? Well, there's always going to be a 1 on top, and then what goes in the bottom over here? Well, this thing right here. The only difference is this exponent turns positive. So instead of having k to the negative first power down here, we're going to have k raised to the positive first power. But k raised to the first power is just k, right? So k to the negative first power is equal to 1 over k. Okay, so this right here, the k squared over k cubed, simplified to 1 over k, all right? So now let's combine those two. So here we still have our 7/4, and then we're going to multiply that by what we just simplified here, right, the 1 over k. Okay, so to multiply two fractions together, you just multiply straight across, right? So on top we have 7 times 1, which is 7, and on the bottom 4 times k is equal to 4k, all right? So then that would be your final answer, simplified answer right here, 7 over 4k, right? Now another kind of easy way you could do this is just looking at the original problem over here. Let's just write it over here. 7k squared over 4k cubed, right? So the quicker way we could have simplified this is seeing that we have 2 k's on top and 3 k's on the bottom. So 2 of these k's would kill the 2 k's up here, and then we would just be left with 1 k left over in the bottom, okay? And if that just sounded like a bunch of word garbage, let me write it out. So on top, 7k squared is the same thing as 7, and then like I said, we have 2 k's on top, right? K squared. So it's the same thing as times k. And then on the bottom, we have a 4, right? And then we have 3 k's, right? So that's the same thing as k times k times k, right? So we have 2 k's on top, 3 k's on the bottom. Okay, so 2 of these k's are going to cancel out the 2 k's that are up here, right? So then we just have 1 k left over here in the bottom. So then on top, all we're left with, again, is 7, and on the bottom we have 4 and k, which again is equal to 4k, right? So then you still get the exact same answer. Okay, so I hope that last part really makes sense, because it's going to make a lot of these types of simplifying exponents and fractions a lot easier. Because, for example, again, if we had something, let's change up the variable a little bit. What if we dropped the numbers, right? So what if we just had x squared over x cubed? Okay, so I have 2 x's on the bottom, I have 2 x's on top, 3 x's on the bottom, right? So 2 of these x's are going to kill 2 of the x's down here, but I'm still going to be left with 1 over, right? So then if you simplified this, it would simply be 1 over x, okay? Or if I had something like x squared over x to the 5th power, okay? Well, I have 5 down here, I have 2 up here, so these 2 up here are going to kill 2 of the ones down here, but I'm still going to be left with 3 over, right? So then this would simplify to 1 over x cubed, right? Because I have 3 left over, all right? And if I flip this, right, let's say, let's start right here, x to the 5th over x cubed, okay? So this time I have 5 x's on top, I have 3 on the bottom, so these 3 on the bottom are going to kill 3 on top, so I'm going to be left with 2 over on top, right? 2 x's left over on top. So this would simplify down to x squared over 1, which is simply equal to x squared, right? So that's kind of a nice, quick, easy way that you can start simplifying these exponents instead of having to go through all the steps we did in this first method over here by subtracting the exponents, then flipping it because it's negative, right? Instead of doing all that, I mean, if your teacher wants you to do that, go ahead and do that. But if you have a choice, definitely choose the faster method of just canceling stuff out on the top or the bottom. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below.